Karen gets tasered for trying to snatch a woman's face mask to give it to her child. While we were at the dreaded big box store picking up potting soil because we are going to DIY ourselves through the isolation, things aren't crazy here yet, but there is a 2 per customer limit on a majority of items. I assume this means everything, so we're getting 2 bags each of a few different types of soil. My husband is loading the last of 8 bags on our cart when I hear her. I know it's a Karen just by the level of unnecessary outrage in her voice. Karen, are you kidding me? Not a lot of people out here in the garden center, but we all look to her. I was almost disappointed to see she didn't come with the requisite haircut. She actually looks like a frazzled mom. Her kid tugging on her hand and an overall hand basket of groceries, and I had a moment of, girl, I feel you. But damn it, she was pointing at us. Karen, you can't buy that many. You are hoarding. My husband, yeah we can. We're getting 2 of each. Karen, oh, don't you fool me. I know what you're doing. My husband, so do I. Fuck off. Well, Karen huffed at that, spun around and yanked her kid back inside to go complain to the employee working the register nearby. Now, we already paid for our items. The employee had come out and scanned the bags earlier and he could easily see our cart from inside. So being finished, we pushed the cart out of the garden center into the parking lot. And then the automatic doors open behind us and I hear, now they are stealing! Just great. We load the soil in the car and turn around to bring the cart back and look at plants. By the time we get back, Karen has given up on trying to convince the employee we are the Bonnie and Clyde of dirt and now is trying to negotiate skipping somebody in line. She has a child, you see, and her handbasket, well, it's just so full and heavy. Could she just please just scotch right on in here real quick and it will just be an extra second, she swears. The woman Karen is trying to skip is young, maybe college age and wearing a face mask, not a medical mask, but the scratchy kind of you would wear while riding a motorcycle or when you're skiing. The mask is black and has like scary wolf teeth on it that honestly made the girl look like somebody you should not fuck with, even though she was wearing a Gap t-shirt and flip-flops. Mask girl is just shaking her head no, and that's all I got as we dropped off the cart. I browse, pick up a couple of plants and we head inside to wait in line. Now it's showtime. Karen and Mask girl are near the register facing off. No pun intended. From the looks of things, Mask girl finished her purchase and Karen stopped her before she could leave. I don't know if she grabbed her or anything, but Karen was still holding her full handbasket, so she hadn't checked out yet. Well, she hadn't paid for her groceries yet because clearly this woman had checked out. Karen, but don't you even need it now? You're leaving. My son could get sick because you won't give it to him and he needs it. Mask girl, hell no, you can't have it. Back off, lady. Karen, but my son really likes it and it's obviously made for boys anyways. Why would you even want to wear something so scary? Mask girl, because I like it. And it has my germs on it. Why would you put a stranger's mask on your kid? Karen, ugh, why are you being so rude? You wouldn't let us go through the checkout first and now you're making my son very upset. Mask girl, well, your problem, not mine. And then Mask girl turns to leave while Karen manifests the biggest balls ever and grabs Mask girl by the back of her mask. Let me make a side note here. When all of this is going down, we're all just standing in line and watching. The register is still going boop 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 as the employee scans items, but otherwise we're all just inside this hypnotic bubble. But when Karen reached out towards Mask girl, it was like the bubble popped and made everything crystal clear. Not slow-mo or anything, but I absolutely felt hyper-aware, like Spider-Man. Karen reaches out, people on both sides of me inhale loudly, Karen grabs the mask and yanks. A lady on my right yells and my husband steps forward. Mask girl tucks her head down and she turns to Karen like a pissed off bull with a bright and shiny new target. I think Karen was going to say something like, "Don't walk away from me" or something, but all she got out was, "Don't crack." I looked around. Because the noise was so loud, I figured the roof was about to cave in. But out of the corner of my eyes, I see Karen spasm and drop to the floor. Little Miss Mask Girl had a fucking taser. I don't know when she pulled out this tiny little flashlight looking thing, but she laid Karen out with it, and not one of us moved for what felt like forever, like we were frozen. And then it was fucking bedlam. Security guard shows up, more employees show up, Masco is chilling like she had been through this before and knows what comes next. The kid is screaming that the wolf girl killed his mom, even though she's groaning and sobbing on the floor and clearly not dead, but maybe wishing she was. The people that had been in line with us were all talking at once, trying to tell the security guard what happened. We hung around just witnessing the insanity for maybe 2 minutes before Karen started choking out demands for an ambulance, the police, a lawyer, the mayor, restitution, and reparations. My husband made eye contact with an employee and got a thumbs up when he put the plants on the shelf and pointed towards the door. We got the fuck out of here. We drove home in silence until my husband parked the car in our driveway, and then we just burst out laughing. Neither of us has ever seen anything like that before. We live in a small beach town, people are super laid back and mellow. Karen was anything but, and I hope to never see her again. Entitled parent literally coughs in a cop's face. EP entitled parent, see cop. So, as of today, Colorado has been put on a lockdown because of the outbreak. The only exceptions are essential employees, going out for groceries, and walking your dog, as was stated in the statewide text we got. So I'm out walking my dog, and I've seen a few families out and about, because it's fucking Colorado and the people here don't understand what a lockdown is. I'm not kidding, this state is full of idiots. So I'm walking my dog past the park, tennis courts by my neighborhood, and I see a family. Mother, 2 sons, and an infant. Yes, a literal infant. And I notice they're yanking on the gates to the tennis court. Now, a little fun fact about the parking lot to the park is that it's often a speed trap area, and even now we have cops in it. So I see an officer leaving his car and approach the family. I was a little bit away, so some details might be fuzzy, but this is what I heard. Cop. Excuse me, madam. She was the one pulling on the gate. Are you aware we are on a statewide lockdown now? EP. Yes, officer, but it says we are allowed to go out for the essentials. Cop. Yes, madam. Is there an essential reason you need to get in the tennis court? He didn't ask this sarcastically, he was being genuine. EP. Yes, sir. My son here are sick of being stuck in the house and wants to play tennis. Can you please find me the key for this gate? The cop pauses for a second, then starts. Madam, I'm sorry, but this is not an essential utility. You and your family need to go home. What, excuse me? We have a right to be out here. We aren't going to stay home on a lovely day like this. All of this virus is just a marketing scam anyways. The officer was genuinely baffled at this point. Cop. Madam, I'm sorry, but you and your family need to go home now. EP. We will not be going home. Now open this gate for us so my sons can play tennis. Cop. Madam, please, this isn't my personal decision. It's for the safety of the elderly and children. EP. If the market is so worried about my children, then they wouldn't be making up this fake pandemic so they can later sell us poison and demand we inject our babies with it. Cop. I'm not here to challenge your beliefs, but again, it's not up to me, it's up to the state. Well, if everyone needs to be home, why don't you go home? Trust me, I would like to be, but this is my job. Well, we are not going home. I want to make sure my kids have a good memory of their childhood and not of being locked in a house. Cop. It's only for 2 weeks, madam. Well, I don't care. Now, if you're not going to help us, leave us alone. We are trying to enjoy a family outing. I'm not certain he did, but it looked like the cop reached for his handcuffs or radio or something like that. Cop. Madam, you need to leave now. I'm going to guess he actually did reach for something because EP looks down, then literally pulls back and coughs in his face. EP. Well, officer, now you're sick, so you should be the one going home. I swear, I have never seen so much fury cross a man's face in my entire life. If the kids weren't there, I'm pretty sure he would have tased her. After he came out of the shock, he called for backup on his radio, and afterwards the EP got arrested. EM slaps my kid for having a different opinion and gets what she deserves. Cast. Me, EM entitled mother, D, my 16-year-old daughter. On to the story. So I'm on my way to lunch with daughter, and where I was, there was a bunch of anti-abortion groups, and personally, me and my daughter are pro-choice, But as we are walking, there is this lady who is walking up to people and asking them if they think if women should get abortions, and if they said yes, she would say, "You people kill children." We were trying to avoid her, but eventually she walked right up to us, her children behind her. EM: what are your thoughts on abortions? Daughter: I think women should be able to choose whether they should or should not. EM: so you think we should kill babies? Daughter: well, it's their future, they should choose and not be pressured. EM: you people sicken me. And when I walk on, I hear whap. I turn around and my daughter is on the sidewalk with a red handprint on her cheek, and let me tell you, I have never ran faster in my life at that EM, and I've never punched someone harder than that in my life. I know violence probably wasn't the answer in that situation, but nobody hits my daughter. The EM just sat there in awe at me, no one hits my daughter. I grabbed my daughter's hand and walked to the diner and went about the rest of the day. We had to deal with police because the EM did call the police for assault, but we got off scot-free because there were cameras around and there were bystanders that backed us up, and the EM did get a $150 fine. So those were the stories for today's video. If you enjoyed this and want to watch more videos, then click here for more stories, or go check out in the info cards in the right corner for more videos.